Risk, our next event, as we are going to the mudpool. And just like that, the game immediately had to basically wreck itself once I turned it on. And as for our final race in the mudpool, as which I do believe this is the final race, I've already used the jackhammer, so I'm going to use the bulldog again, just because there's one paint scheme I want to use, and that is this. It's basically silver, red, and orange, judging by the colours. But yeah, for the mudpool, I'm going to use the bulldog. Even though I'm pretty sure there will be some big rigs in this race, and without any doubts in my mind, this race will probably take me less than an hour to win. The Mud Plugger on the Mudpool. Once again, it's a match made in MotorStorm heaven, so don't be afraid to take the plunge. Use your advanced skills to force the ATVs through the mud to slow them down. Take care that the big rigs don't team up on you. If you find yourself surrounded, boost ahead of the pack. That's basically what I try to do all the time. I basically try my best to keep away from the big rigs, even though inevitably they will basically charge up on me and do whatever it takes to fucking punt me every time I try to avoid them. Just to be clear. Fuck. What I can say in that previous attempt is, well, it almost paid off, but then because of how fucked up I was waiting to be in that previous attempt, I just knew there was going to be no avoidance of the inevitable. It's basically a prophecy that says every time I race against the big rigs, I'm just going to be destroyed. And that's exactly what they do to me. So, the conservative strategy almost paid off, but then, as per usual, the AI just basically had to be totally egregious and just pretty much destroy my race before I could even get a shot at fighting for the lead. Because that is just how incredibly bad I think they really are at doing this sort of thing. They don't even care about racing anymore, they just care about eating my flesh. That's basically what they do, because technically the only word I can really use to describe them is cannibals. A bunch of goddamned fucking cannibals is literally what they are now. Oh, he blows up. I got second on that first lap, so I'm pretty sure that's not going to last for long, because whilst I'm down here in the mud, I'm basically exposed. I'm basically a sitting duck compared to the big rigs once they get up to speed, and I know for sure one of them is easily going to haul my ass in a moment. They're basically going to sacrifice me like a weak, is what those big rigs will do. And as for my other opponents, they aren't much better, but at least I can say it's not as much of an ordeal to compete against. The car's about the same, but at least it's not as much of an ordeal to compete against the vehicles that are about the same size as well as smaller than me, because I can actually withstand those, but the big rigs I clearly cannot, and they're actually not in contention at the moment, so I'm going to assume they must be really struggling at the present time, which is probably the main reason why they're not in this thing. It's probably because they keep wrecking themselves, like they did in the previous race at Dust Devil, although that was basically all of the AI that did that. So maybe this could have an identical outcome. If the big rigs are really about as far behind as they appear to be. Maybe this could have a very different outcome, considering I am still leading this race and I have now got a lap led in the books, which is one objective I've managed to succeed with. All I need to do now is win. The only thing I need to focus on now is winning, and seeing if I can actually do it. And the big rigs at the moment appear to be nowhere, so they must have been really struggling after what happened on the second lap, because they're not at all in contention for this thing. They're not even in the top 5, so they must be way the fuck behind everyone else. And using my boost tank, trying not to blow it up of course, as I go through the corner, trying to save up for enough speed at the line, got enough temperature, and there we go. Jesus Christ. And in the end, I won by 0.77, basically over 3/4 of a second ahead of the ATVs. And ironic as it might be, we did have a big rig finish inside the top 5, that was Chuckles. And all I'm really going to do now is try and see if I can get a suitable thumbnail. Considering this race is, how you would say, risky. But yeah, I mean, with the big rigs in this race, it was basically like racing against tracker missiles rather than space shuttles. Considering that is more or less what I was racing against when I was here at the mudpool on a bike, and there was a big rig in that race as well. Anyways, trying to see if I can at least get a thumbnail image that's representable, and hopefully one that will not be terrible. Keep in mind, of course, it is on a dark and cloudy day, as it's proven to be here at the mudpool. But anyways, see what I can get. Okay, I think I'll stop it there for the clickbait shots. So, True Bayard finished in second, and then it was Oscar Gratz who finished in third position. Al Azam in what I think is the Lunatic Asylum finishes in fourth position, and Chuckles in the Nord Viking finishes fifth. Then we had Mrs. Sov in the second Bulldog, followed by Johnny R in the Castro Varadero. Lizzie Grip in the Molotov Drago was 8th, followed by Jane Doe in the Thunder Chief. Then I think it was Floella Warkia who finishes in 10th position in the Patriot Bushwhacker. Then we had Geddy Minas ahead of Malashit. Then we had Jess Johnson, followed by Angel Pie, and Artson completes the finishing order. And less than a minute from 1st to 15th was the overall margin of victory from 1st to 15th. But still, I really had to save up on that boost tank if I was going to get the win. And surprise, surprise, we have another event at the Tenderizer. Prepare for what is probably going to be even more chaos and destruction. Also, it will be our second to last race in the game overall. So, the Fun Factory is next.